Hi, I'm Emma Ashley and welcome to this My Drive Time tutorial. Today we're going to have an extended look at making tax digital. So let's get started. We aim to support you in every aspect of your business, and making tax digital is no exception. In this video we're going to have a look at the following. At My Drive Time we are not accountants, so we have teamed up with experts to provide you with a variety of options. You need to choose which tax partner suits you the best. Once you have chosen your tax partner, you need to connect to them so that they can handle things on your behalf. My Drive Time has made some changes to accommodate making tax digital, so we'll have a look at those, including new icons and new options when adding and changing payments. Then we'll talk briefly through the process of submitting your return through your tax partner to HMRC. The first thing to do is to choose and connect with a tax partner. So let's go to the Making Tax Digital page. The easiest way to do this is to click on the banner on the dashboard if it is shown. Alternatively, go to My Work, Money, and then click on the Making Tax Digital button towards the top right. Then click on the Settings button. The first thing that you might want to do is to set the date when you will start using Making Tax Digital. For most instructors, this will be the 6th of April 2027. If you don't want to use it at all, then set a future date and that will effectively turn the feature off, albeit temporarily. You can change the date by quarter if you wish, up to 3 years ahead, or manually up to 5 years ahead. Once you have changed the date, save it to set the date. You can always change it later if you need to. We have 4 offerings for you. A fully managed solution in partnership with FBTC, where they handle all the quarterly updates and the final declaration on your behalf. A hybrid option in partnership with Drive Ahead Bookkeeping, if you are comfortable doing the quarterly updates yourself but want an accountant to handle your final declaration. A simple Connect option, where you elect to handle your quarterly updates and the final declaration yourself using Xero. Finally, there is an export option where you can download the relevant data and pass it on to a bookkeeper or accountant of your own choosing. Bear in mind that they will need to sort out your quarterly updates and the final declaration for you. Once you have chosen a tax partner, you then need to register with them, and once you have your login credentials, you can connect to them. Let's assume I have chosen FBTC and I've registered with them already via the relevant option. You can connect by clicking the Connect button and entering your login credentials. Note that if you're connecting to Xero, you may have to specify your organisation and bank account, and there are options available to do that. Details of how to configure these are to be found on the Xero website. Once you have connected, you will need to configure the chart of accounts for use with your tax partner. This allows the payment types you use in My Drive Time to be mapped to the payment types that your tax partner uses. As you can see, for FBTC, there are a lot of possible categories for each payment type. So rather than force you to find each one, needles and haystacks come to mind, where possible we identify the correct category for you. You simply have to click on the default option provided. If we cannot find the correct category for you, you will have to identify it yourself. If in doubt, please contact your tax partner. In addition to the Making Tax Digital options and the quarter submission screen, the other area which has been affected is the money section. So let's have a look at that now. The first thing that is obvious is that there is an army of new icons that appear alongside payments, including clocks, padlocks, triangles, prohibition signs and moons. What do they all mean? Well, the easy way to find out is to hover the mouse over the icon on the web app and it will tell you. Of course, on the mobile app, you don't have a mouse, so you can't hover. So this is what they mean. Let's deal with colours first. If it is green, it means that all is good and you have nothing to do. If it is red, it is not good and it means that you have something to do. If it is amber, it means that everything is okay, but there may be something that you need to do soon. Finally, if it is grey, we're going to ignore it, so you can too. The moon means that the payment is earlier than the earliest payment date that you have set. So if you haven't changed it, your earliest payment date will be the 5th of April 2026, and therefore anything prior to that date will not be included in Making Tax Digital and will be marked with a grey moon. If a payment is in a future quarter, for example, if you have put all your bank charges in for the rest of the year, anything past this quarter will have a grey clock. If you see a grey prohibition symbol, a circle with a line through it, it means that the payment has either been explicitly excluded by you because you do not want to include it in your next quarterly submission, or it is a zero payment. It has no monetary value, for example, a free lesson for a student. If you have a payment which has not been exported to your tax partner, but it can be, you will see an amber clock. The app is waiting for you to export it. If you have a payment which has not been exported to your tax partner and the quarter in which it exists is overdue, you will see a red triangle. You need to do an export. If you see a payment which has been exported to your tax partner, but the submission to HMRC is overdue, you will see a red padlock. You've almost done it. One step to go. If you see a payment which has been exported to your tax partner and has been submitted to HMRC, you will see a green padlock. Well done, gold star, go to the top of the class. One word about excluding payments. There is now a field on the Add and Edit payment screens where you can toggle whether the payment is to be excluded from any and all exports. In most situations, you do not need to change this. It is only for situations where there is a specific reason to exclude that payment. For example, you may have checked with your accountant about some extraordinary expense and have been advised that you cannot claim it as a business expense. In this situation, you might want to specifically exclude it. This is what the toggle is for. Now, if you are anything like me, sometime after you have done all your accounts, you suddenly find a receipt in a pocket or under the front seat in the car and realise that you haven't claimed for it. If you have already completed that quarter's submission, it doesn't mean that you can't claim for it. When you go to add the payment, you will be warned that the payment is within a submitted tax period. In this case, it will be added and then it will be submitted in a subsequent submission. When it comes to changing a payment where the payment has already been exported to your tax partner, represented by a padlock, all the key details of the payment are locked by default. This is done to prevent accidental updates to previously exported payments. You can still update the payment, but you should consider whether there may be better ways to make the change. If you decide that you do want to update an exported payment, once you unlock it, you are given the option of including the payment in the next export, or whether you are going to make the change only in My Drive Time. If your accountant has already changed the exported record on their side and is informing you of the change they have made, you might want to choose My Drive Time only. If you want to export this payment, then choose Include in Export. When exporting a quarter to your tax partner, the app examines all the payments in the quarter and identifies any that have already been exported and how many are new. New ones will include any qualifying payments which have been added outside that quarter and have not yet been exported. In order to avoid duplicate entries being exported to the tax partner, normally you would choose the option to export new records only. If, however, for some reason you wish to export all the records, you have that option as well. You may encounter situations where all payments have been exported and there are no new qualifying payments. In this case, you cannot export nothing, so you can just click I've exported all payments instead. Now a few words of reassurance. My Drive Time does nothing automatically in respect of making tax digital. It doesn't do it in the background while you aren't looking. It is simply a tool that helps you to fulfill your tax obligations. To that end, it advises you about the opening and closing of quarters and submission windows. If you are not eligible, or you don't want to use the Making Tax Digital feature at all, then just ignore it. Remember, ultimately HMRC have the correct version of your accounts, so the data in My Drive Time should match the version that HMRC hold for you. This makes it easier to deal with future queries, should there be any. My Drive Time tries to cater for every eventuality, including adding and editing payments after they have been submitted. Where you make such changes, you need to understand the effect that will have on your records in My Drive Time, at your tax partner and at HMRC. That's it for this guide. I do appreciate it's an awful lot to take in. Thanks for watching. I'm Emma Ashley, and I'll see you next time. Bye.